Hi guys, how you doing? This is Damuska. This week has been tough. This week has not been so amazing. There's been a whole lot on the media about rape, racism, rape in Nigeria, racism in the US, and it's so depressing, honestly. In the last 3-4 days, I've just been waking up somehow, like no energy, no motivation, nothing, not interested in anything. Basically just, I don't know. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I still feel drowsy. I sleep off during the day. Like, I like sleep, people, but I leave my sleep till evenings. I don't ever sleep during the day. I always sleep at night. I always leave my sleep till night, and I get my 8 hours every day. But recently, I would get more than 8 hours, and I would still be drowsy in the afternoon. I don't even understand what's going on with me. Anyway, so because of everything that's been happening, I decided to share my story on the 5 different times that I have actually experienced sexual assault. I'm sure it's more than 5. It's probably more than 5, but these are the 5 ones that were significant. Something I got to notice in Nigeria is that you're one of the lucky few if you never got raped, like as a female. You're one of the lucky few. Even the guys get raped too. I'm gonna say I'm one of the lucky few, and I'm going to explain why eventually as I unveil my different sexual assaults. So for some people, they were not lucky enough. It was traumatizing and it affected them for a long time, and some of them it still affects them till today. But why I say I was one of the lucky few is that I got saved the whole trauma of penetration. I think there's something penetration does, just that invasion of your body, total invasion, just on some other level. Okay, so I'm going to start with when I was around 6 to 7. My neighbors had a cousin around. I took a liking to him. Of course, I liked everybody then because I was an only child, so I didn't really hang out with people a lot. So every time I meet someone new, I tend to, yay, want to get close to them. So while I was trying to be friendly with this human, he was about 17 or 16, 17 then, and I was 6. He started to do things to me, sexually assault me. He would put his hands inside me. It was painful, it was uncomfortable. With time, I just stopped going there so I wouldn't get assaulted. And it was my favorite place to go. So imagine the whole turn between going to have fun but then realizing that you might actually experience something not so fun when you get there. Yeah. Then the second person was also a neighbor. Funnily enough, he was younger than the last one. He was around 10, 9, 10. He had seen his parents, from what I gathered, he had seen his parents do things to themselves, so he wanted to try it on me, and yeah, that was not fun. Amazingly enough, this guy somehow, after a long time, traced me and came to look for me around the time I was like 18 or so, 17, 18, I think 18 or 19 or so. He came back with that whole, oh, my lost, love, and I just looked at him and I was like, wow, this guy came back to continue the assault he started from when we were young. So I just did the normal Niger girl trick. I unloaded a whole lot of problems that needed monetary solutions, and he just ran away, definitely, because he was a young guy like me. I mean, where was he going to get money from? But totally not my thing. It was just to scare him. Okay, so the third time was when I became a dancer, and I had a crew, and we had this gig at the Keja one time. It was at the White House, and one of the anchors, or should I say presenters, at a TV station close to there, took an interest in me and told me he could give me gigs. He could get me and my dancers gigs. He felt like I could even get more gigs than them individually. And so at the end of the show, when everybody was going home, he told me I should just staple with him and spend the night with him, and he would, we'll get to talk about all the things that he feels like he can do for me, all the new gigs he could give me. And I was naive, guys. I thought it was a good deal. I mean, anybody who knew me then knew that, like, dance was my life. Dance was basically all what I wanted to do. I knew I was going to be a great dancer, and I just wanted to be that. And so I followed him. I followed him to his hotel room at the time, and it was not pleasant. I mean, at first it was all interesting talks and talks about my future and stuff like that. And then eventually it became him touching me over the night. And I remember continuously telling him I hadn't had sex yet, so he shouldn't do anything crazy. At the time, I think I was 15. Yes, I was 15, guys. I was 15, 16 around that time. 15, I think I was 15. And I kept telling him I hadn't done anything and he shouldn't do anything crazy to me. And then he said, you're a virgin. Okay, I won't do much to you, Shal. It won't be so enjoyable. Shal, put your laps together. And all through that, I just kept thinking about my life. You know when they say your life flashes by when you're about to die? Not just when you're about to die, when something terrible is happening to you, trust me. Your life just keeps flashing through your eyes and you keep thinking of all the mistakes and all the errors you made to get to that moment. That's what happens to you at that time. So the fourth time was when I got a gig for a music video in Lagos, and I left Ife for this gig, and it was going to be my thing. Like, I was still into the whole dance thing. I was 17 at the moment, so 2 years apart, and it was going to be my breakthrough. It was going to be that pivotal, activity or event I was going to do that was going to make me into what I wanted to do. Dance was my life, guys. Dance was all I wanted to do. And this same activity was also, this same audition that I went for was also what I like to call the Great Depression for me. I would have to do this in a new video, in a different video, because this is a whole story on its own. I can't even narrate that one right now. But this was the moment I decided no more dancing. And yeah, it wasn't fun. But was it the worst? I don't think it was the worst. I think the next one, the fifth one, was the worst. The fifth one was definitely the worst. But around that time, I remember from the ages of 15 and 17, there were lots of stories about people getting raped. People my age, my friends were saying things about getting raped, or somebody they knew getting raped. And it just seemed like that was all that was raining. And I remember thinking, isn't it better to have sex now with somebody that you like than for your first time to be raped? This was a legit discussion amongst we teenagers. Like, no jokes. Girls were talking about, why not just have sex with my boyfriend now? I know that at least it's somebody that I like, that and I'm doing it with, than have my first time be raped, because rape was rampant at this time. It seems like that's the time when, that's the age here when most females get raped. So I still remember this was a motivation to also my first sexual experience, but that's not what we're talking about today. That's going to be another video totally. So now my next one, my fifth one, why this was the most painful one was because I was much older. Right, so this was just like 3 years ago, and I thought I had grown to that point where I was in charge of myself. Like, nobody could do me anything because I was a big girl now. I could take care of myself. I could do whatever I wanted to do. I had broken myself off that victim mentality, that person that could be taken advantage of. I was now a strong, powerful woman that gets to decide whatever happens to her. So it was really, really traumatizing for me to experience this at that age. Like, so it was someone that I knew, someone that I liked, someone that I was attracted to, someone that I wanted to have sex with, someone I had had sex with before. The night before, we had an amazing time. We had sex, it was great, it was amazing. We fell asleep. He woke up in the morning with a hard on and felt that it was his right to have sex with me again. When he woke me up, you know how you drowsily wake up, and I was like, no, I'm tired. I'm tired, I'm sore. I don't even want to, don't do anything. And he forced his way into me. And I didn't believe this was happening to me until he was actually inside me. And I could remember the numbness I felt, the coldness I felt. I was stiff. I was staring blankly. I was ashamed, and at the same time, I could not believe what was happening to me. I was getting used. by someone that I had given consent of my body to at a time that I did not want it. Like, how worse can it be that it's someone you feel like you can trust, someone you feel that you have even given access to your body, so she don't feel like he has to force himself in on you, right? It's someone that you could easily just give the sex to some other time, but no, he had to have it then because I turned him on. I was still for like 5 minutes, and then I think he realized I was still because he wasn't getting the stimulation he expected. And then he looked at me because I dried up. I was just stiff. I didn't like, I wasn't moving. I was just like, it's just like having sex with a log. And then he realized, ooh, he doesn't feel as good as he should. And then he goes, what's wrong? And I push him off, and all of the anger in me like riled out. And the amazing thing about it is that till date, this guy doesn't believe that that was rape, because he's not a rapist now. How will you be calling him a rapist? What kind of nonsense is that? That's an insult to him. But God, that's what you did. You get? That's what you did. I could never forget. I might try to forgive. I might try to forget about it, but I would never forget. I would still see him as a potential assaulter. Definitely. I mean, for someone who doesn't even believe that what he did was wrong, he's like, but we had sex last night. Yes, that was last night. And I still remember telling you that I'm not capable of going on another time. I still remember saying, it's hurting. It's hurting me. What more do you need to learn? What more do you need to hear for you to stop? What more, really? So if you never knew, some guys will say, oh, I never knew that was wrong. I never knew. Okay, now that you know, can you please ask for consent before you go ahead, and make sure that it is a positive affirmation? I mean, a positive affirmation is like tautology, but I feel like at this point you have to have a double for you to get it. If you're like, oh, she said no, but she actually liked it, why don't you get a clear yes first before you go on? If you really, really, really care to know if it's an affirmation or not, why not make sure? Why not freaking make sure? Would you die if you don't actually do it? Will you die? Will you really die? Okay, so there was a time when the whole sex for grades thing was up, and it was on TV or so, and one guy said, I don't know why people are making this thing an issue. Some people actually like it, and they don't even know they like it until you force them. I could not. Oh my god, the way I felt, slapping that guy would have not been enough. So anyways, I told him that if you had to force your way on someone, then you probably shouldn't be having sex with that person. If you actually have to force your way in, you shouldn't be having sex with that person. Why? Why would you want to take the chance of whether the person would like it or not? Would you like someone to take a chance on whether you would like your throat getting slit or not? Would you like to take that chance? Would you like someone to take a chance on your life, whether you like dying or not? I don't see any difference between a racist and a rapist. They have privileges they feel they have. For the rapist, it's strength over the female or male, because sometimes older women actually assault men, boys, I mean. So for the rapist, it's always strength. They have strength, they probably have authority, they have seniority. And for the racist, they have privileges, societal privileges, and they just use it to, you know, get what they want, oppress the other. So at the end of the day, I think the universe is still teaching us the same lesson. Be better people. Think about the next person, whether the person is male or female, whether the person is black or white. Think about the next person. I'm too angry today to be, to ask for any questions. So just put any comments you feel like putting. I'll read your comments and I'll respond. And I hope next week we don't have to be sad again, because I don't know, it's still sad. Anyways, Take care, guys. Be better people, please. Please. For the earth to survive. Thank you.